Hey, it's Tay, and I will be covering pages 194 through 198, which goes through culture, body shape, and eating disorders, as well as culture and obesity. Social and cultural factors are essential in the perception of body shapes in that they influence the relationship between culture and health. Body shape and body dissatisfaction are actually linked to eating disorders. More specifically, they're considered strong predictors of eating disorders, and we see this in several cultures, such as in the US, in Greece, and China. The International Body Project, which I unofficially shortened to IBP just to save space, assessed body weight ideals and body dissatisfaction across 26 countries in 10 different world regions. So that's North and South America, Western and Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, Oceania, East, Southeast, West, and South Asia, as well as Africa. This project included nearly 7,500 participants, and they used Thompson and Gray's line drawing, which is shown here, line drawing figures of women. So the female participants were asked to do 3 things, and that was to first pick which drawing most closely resembled their own body shape, and then they were asked to pick which of these figures closely resembled their ideal body shape, which is the one that they most desired to look like. And then they were thirdly asked to pick which of these figures these figures did they believe males found most attractive. And then the male participants were only asked to pick which of these drawings they found as most attractive. Interestingly, males were more likely to select heavier figures than the women were led to believe, and this occurred in 9 out of the 10 regions that I listed earlier. So all of them besides East Asia found heavier figures as more attractive. So this means that women were more likely to falsely believe that males preferred thinner body shapes. Another interesting thing that finding from the International Body Project was that weight ideals and dissatisfaction were consistently linked with economically developed status, as opposed to broader groupings like Western and non-Western cultures. So cultures that have lower socioeconomic statuses, or SES, seem to prefer heavier bodies since it's seen as an indicator of greater resource security. This just means that they have stronger financial and resource stability to be able to afford to consume more. So conversationally, in turn, cultures with higher SES prefer thinner bodies. In the US, there's this perception that only affluent European American females are at risk and struggle from eating disorders, but recent evidence suggests that this is actually not true. Research literature reports that ethnic minority women or females are also at risk for developing eating disorders and syndromes. The review in the textbook suggests that African American, Latina American, and Asian American females show similar rates for some eating disorders, such as binge eating, but lower rates for other disorders, such as anorexia and bulimia. This may be because ethnic minority women have different body ideals from maybe their own cultures, besides the ones from the States. And so the pressure for the thinness that results in these eating disorders may not apply to ethnic minority women. But now, with globalization of Western media, this actually may be changing. The International Body Project showed that women who reported more exposure to Western media also reported greater body dissatisfaction. A recent review in 36 countries found that body dissatisfaction was greater among those who lived in more affluent countries with Western lifestyles. So Western lifestyles is defined as countries with high consumption and as well as having more individualistic orientations. For example, Pakistani and Mexican American females were reporting more disturbed eating attitudes when they were more exposed to Western and Anglo-American media, respectively. So now we're moving on to culture and obesity. With the increase in eating disorders, researchers have also been increasing their attention to growing rates of overweight and obesity around the world. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or the OECD, compiled data into this graph, which shows rates of obesity across 9 selected countries. This graph, which is also in the textbook, indicates that the US has the highest rates of obesity in adults and children compared to the other 8 countries that are economically similar. And even though the trend has stabilized, you can see from here, from 1974 to around 2000, obesity rates have increased significantly. To be more specific, obesity rates in children, which are people from the age 6 to 11, quadrupled, and obesity rates in adolescents, those are people from 12 to 19, their rates for obesity doubled. So it's also currently estimated that 1 in 6 children and adults, as well as adolescents, 1 in 6 children and adolescents, as well as 1 in 3 adults are obese in the United States. And there's 2 potential reasons to explain this disparity. It would be diet and exercise, or the lack of exercise to be more specific. Research suggests that the increasing obesity rates in American children is partly due to the increase in soft drink consumption from the past several decades. Additionally, many American children and adolescents eat unhealthy foods in and out of school. School lunches in the US tend to be high in calorie and low in nutrients, and nutrition. So it's not really surprising that there was a study that found that children who regularly ate these school lunches were more likely to be more obese than the students who didn't. Studies also found that about a third of American adolescents in America Studies also found that about a third of American adolescents eat at least one fast food meal a day as they get older. And as they grow older, their consumption of fast food also increases. Despite all these findings, Matsumoto and Huang, the authors of our textbook, implored that research about what aspects of culture influences these attitudes about eating and stereotypes regarding thinness and obesity still need to be done.